In this video, we're going to look at curves. So on the screen, I have some circles, I have a line going across, and I have a curve. Now, for the sake of the video, I'm going to make these circles and this line construction lines. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to draw this curve. And this curve should just touch the circumference of the two circles. So it's not going to cut into the circle, it's going to meet flush. And for them to meet flush, we have to do some calculation. And what we have to calculate this point that is here. This point, the center of where these two arcs are. So to calculate that point, we need to do about three things. The radius is 100 for the curve that we need, but we need to look at the radius of this circle, and we need to look at the radius of this circle. So what I'm going to do is, on the right side here, I'm going to reproduce the drawing. So the first thing I'll draw, that center line going across, which is 70. So once I have that 70 drawn, let me dimension it to check to see if it's correct. And that's 70. So from here I'm going to draw the two circles, and those two circles are, the one to the left is radius 10. Make sure you're on the edge of the line. The one to the right now is radius 20. So from here we have our circles, and we want to get in our curve. I'm going to delete this measurement so that it's a little clearer. Now when I look at this example, you need to remember that this circle has a radius of 10, but in all it has a diameter of 20. So if I were to dimension it, I could see that the diameter is 20. Now what that means is that a line going from one side, from the center of the circle to one edge, would be 10. And then the line going to the other edge would be 10. So in total, this line that is here would be 20. Let me just delete that. So we have to subtract for this. And if I drew a line from here to the center of where the curve is, the arc is, we need to look at what is going to be left remaining. The full distance from here to the center of the arc is 100. So from here to the center is 100. But we know the radius here, which is 10. So since we know the radius is 10, and we know the full curve is 100, if you subtract 10 from the full curve, you are left with 90. So let's check to see if the measurement of this arc is at 90. And it's at 90. Let me just go over that again. The curve that I'm drawing is 100, and this curve touches the circumference of the circle. The center of this curve is somewhere down here. So what I need to do is I'm going to subtract the radius from the curve. So 10 from 100 gives us 90. So let me go over here, get my radius, and I click there. So I type in radius 90, and I draw my circle. So this circle is at radius 90. Now I need to do the second circle. So if I were to draw a line from the center of this radius 20 circle to the center of the 100 curve, over here is 100, but the measurement from here to there is 100, yes. But this line will only come to the center. So since this circle here is radius 20, you subtract radius 20 from the 100, which leaves you with 80. So the length of this line should be 80. Let's just check to be safe. And that is actually 80. So let me delete the two of these first. And let me scribe my second arc over here. I draw my second circle over here, which should be radius 80. Remember, it comes from here. So when I draw it at 80, the two of them meet down here. So I'm going to draw a small circle and just trim off some of these lines. So now that those lines are trimmed off, let me check to see if these 2 points, when they meet, if they give me, when I draw a circle that's 100, if it touches both circles. So radius, I come here and I type in 100, and you realize that it is touching both circles. So it's touching the circumference, so that is correct. Let me trim off. Now, if I wanted to do that curve that we just drew, let's check the radius of it. That radius is 100, and that's what we're looking for. Now, what would happen is you would also dimension your curves so that you can see what measurements you used. And this helps to provide clarity for someone looking at your drawing so they can see that you did the correct measurement. Now, so those measurements are in. What I'm going to do is I want to put a curve here at radius 80. So for me to draw a curve here at radius 80, what will I have to do? I know the center of it is going to be somewhere down here. So I'm going to draw a line from here. Suppose the center is here. Now, if I am drawing a curve that touches here at 80, coming over there, it means that the length of this line from this point to this point would be 80. So what I would have to do is I have to add 80 to the actual radius. So let me check what's the radius again. Let me check what's this measurement. So that measurement is 10. It's radius 10. So let me delete this. Remember, I'm drawing a circle, a curve that's radius 80. So I come to my radius, and I have calculated that if I add the radius here, which is 10, to the 80, it means that when I draw a curve, it will touch here at 80. So I'm going to draw a curve at radius 90. So there's my radius 90. Now remember, I got 90 by adding 80 plus the radius. So over here, this circle is radius 20. So I'm going to add 80 plus the radius 20. So that's 100. Radius. So 100. And I'm looking for where these two arcs meet once again. So let me draw a small circle here. Now, once that small circle is done, let me trim up. And I will trim up over here. I'll trim up that big one. And I'll trim the top. So what is going on here is this center, if I draw a circle from here at 80, it should touch the circumference of these two circles. So let me check. Radius 80, enter, and as you can see, it touches the circumference. So I'm going to trim it, and I will leave that there. Let me show my dimensions. dimension 1, which is the radius 100, and I'll show my dimension 2. Oh, that's the same dimension for the first line. So let me show this one, radius 90, and enter. So what I did was I calculated for that one the center from the circle to the center of the arc. So since we want to get a radius of 80, 80 is here. So I would have to add the radius to the center of the arc. Over here, this radius is 80, so I'm adding the radius of this circle to the radius of the arc 80.